People were then thinking, so he's cool with it when it means he doesn't have to plan anything for Abby for their wedding anniversary, but not when it's 2 celebrations for him that Abby needs to plan herself. Make it make sense.
Obviously you need to feed Augie, and we can do formula, but like you were wanting to do breastfeeding, and so like it felt like I was doing like everything for Augie, and so I'm like, here I am, like I have all these like big goals and big dreams, and I have to put them to the wayside, and I'm like, I'm stuck here, and I was kind of mad.
His wife is struggling physically and mentally, and there's a newborn baby, and he's saying that he's upset because of his life and how Abby wasn't doing enough.
Hey everybody, we usually would not be making a video like this, but there is information circulating about us that is completely untrue.
Today, we are recapping the tea and controversies surrounding Matt and Abby. You might have seen them before on TikTok. They often go viral for their clips from their podcast where they discuss their experiences as young parents and their hot takes on relationships. These hot takes tend to get them in a lot of trouble on TikTok and Reddit, and there's always a ton of people calling them out in comments and making stitches as video responses. They know how to get the people riled up, which has led people to start to wonder, are they just rage baiting? So what has been going on that's getting everyone so pissed off? Let's get into it. Matt and Abby are a married couple with 2 young kids, aged 1 and 2 years old. I would say they are family influencers, but they don't show their children on camera, which might be the only thing they do that isn't controversial in some way. They tend to talk a lot about their experiences as young parents and how it's affected them as a couple, and their hot takes on stuff that they've learned. We're talking millions of followers across platforms, but mainly TikTok is where I've seen such a strong reaction from the audience. Their whole shtick is being real about parenting and relationships. They basically spill all the tea on what's going on in their lives, their struggles and arguments or disagreements, and what they've learned. They also have guests on there sometimes to talk about more general topics, but the things that always get the most attention and heat are the family and relationship content. At this point, I feel like people just love to hate Matt and Abby. These two are like controversy magnets, I swear. They say the wildest things that make you question, did they really just say that out loud? And to be fair, it's not always because it's necessarily the most unheard of or cancelable thing, but it's always something that will evoke a strong reaction from someone. I believe that even if it's valid to have your own opinion or thought on something, doesn't mean it should be said aloud, and another step further, be announced and blasted out to the public. It's just a question of, was that really something that needed to be shared? Probably not. For example, once on their podcast, Matt talked about how he thinks things felt different down there after Abby gave birth.
Does it feel different down there after birth?
Yeah, actually. I feel like it goes back, but it doesn't go back to exactly how it was
we
before.
talked about this the other day, and I was kind of surprised to hear you say that, because you never told me until I asked you.
I always heard, it goes back to normal, but it doesn't go back to exactly the way it was before.
So, maybe I shouldn't go into too much detail.
We can say whatever.
You still like it after?
I still like it, of course.
You like it as much?
I would say so.
That doesn't sound very...
I think I like it pretty good.
The comments on this did not hold back, saying, "The way I'd leave, are you joking?" That's actually wild for him to say out loud. She so clearly wanted reassurance. She's so much stronger than me, I would have been bawling. Someone save her, please. They've also admitted they don't always find each other attractive.
I just find you very attractive.
Yeah, I find you very attractive too.
And there was a time where I did not.
Same.
Isn't that so funny how our brain can do that, though?
Yes.
It's so crazy. And that's also why you shouldn't marry someone for looks.
Bingo.
Like, I sound like such a hypocrite because I'm saying that and I'm married to, like, such a hot man.
The reception of this one was kind of mixed because, yeah, it's true that your attraction for someone can grow based on their personality, but some people were taken aback by this conversation, saying things like, "I feel like he was just trying to one-up her, Lamau. These thoughts we keep to ourselves. The way he instantly said same would make me cry for at least 5 business days." To be honest, watching that clip was really cringe, but I can't say that I'm mad at what they said. They've also said on their podcast that they don't believe that divorce is an option for them.
For us, like, divorce is just not on the table. It's not an option. I think people go into marriage thinking divorce is an option. That's why they kind of work themselves towards divorce subconsciously.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's very valid reasons for divorce. There's so many different circumstances that could, like, that totally validate those people's situations. But for us, in our relationship, I think that the reason we're able to have a strong marriage, that doesn't mean that we don't have conflict, we don't have weak spots. It's because we both believe in the commitment we made to each other.
With this one, I can kind of see where they're coming from, but at the same time, I don't think anyone is getting married thinking that they're going to get a divorce. It's kind of weird of them to say that divorce is not an option, since honestly, divorce should always be an option and is sometimes the right option. Of course, it's not literally option A once you encounter one hard thing, but to say that it's not on the table is pretty extreme, and that's the type of example that they're setting for younger viewers. People were pretty critical of this, saying they're like 23. I feel like putting that pressure of saying never makes you guys put each other as less of a priority and more of a need to be together. They should want to be with you not because there's no other choice. Yeah, my parents said the same. I wish they would have. I could have had a childhood where there was joy in the home. We used to say this early in our marriage. 14 years later, we are still married, but we would also no longer stand by this. Do what you need to do to be happy. Life is short. And these mini controversies really just set the scene for understanding the larger viral controversies that have come up. In a podcast episode, Matt explains that he had gotten upset because in the past they had combined his birthday celebration with Father's Day. They ended up deleting the clip they posted because it got so much hate, but this account reposted it so we can still watch it together.
We've decided as a family that we are not celebrating Father's Day this year.
Father's Day, it's always in June, and it's like
Last
always
year
around.
was June 18th, which is Matt's birthday, so
Yes.
he had Father's Day and his birthday on the same day. And
So sad.
I will say I did kind of combine the holidays.
You did combine the two of them. It's okay though. I mean, you were pregnant, you were uncomfortable, you were
We
close.
just gotten back from our baby moon that
Yeah.
day. I got you a cake from DQ.
I guess we had
And
just
had
gotten
our
home.
family over and grilled.
Well, I grilled, but I know a lot of dads grill on their birthday.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had
And
Father's
I grew
Day.
your child
You did grow my child.
all day, every day.
But like Father's Day and my birthday were the same exact day.
Yeah, and
it kind of was a bummer.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I failed you. I'm
Hey,
so sorry.
but you know what? This year, we're boycotting Father's Day for the month of June and celebrating it 3 months after my birthday.
People were quick to call out how so many other people share their birthdays with holidays, and while that doesn't feel great, it doesn't make sense for him to be so upset about it in the context of their situation. He made Abby feel bad and apologized for combining the two celebrations that year, even though they had just gotten back from a trip and she was pregnant. It isn't like Father's Day is always on his birthday since it changes every year, and it wasn't like it was combined with a holiday that has nothing to do with him. It was still a celebration for two things that centered him. Like, sir, you are still the subject of the celebration. Some commenter said, please tell me this is a joke. I'm so sorry I failed you is crazy. It's always in June. Oh my god, I can't even. My dad's birthday is Christmas, so my dad just had his birthday on Father's Day and was so unfazed. All he cared about was the family being together. Then people got even more heated when they then posted content for a sponsored trip saying that they combined his birthday with their wedding anniversary celebration. People were then thinking, so he's cool with it when it means he doesn't have to plan anything for Abby for their wedding anniversary, but not when it's two celebrations for him that Abby needs to plan herself. Make it make sense. That really led some people to think this whole thing was just rage bait from the start and that he doesn't actually care. Because, I mean, why else would you choose a wedding date so close to your birthday if you hate combined celebrations? Alright, brace yourself for what's next because this one hit differently for me. The other ones, at the end of the day, everyone has their own opinion. I feel like they overshare sometimes, but to each their own. But this one did get me a little bit heated. It was so bad that they got rid of the comment section of the episode that this was in and removed the conversation from the video after all the backlash. And yes, you can remove sections of a YouTube video after posting it. They really said, hee hee, just forget that this happened. So what's the tea? Well, Abby had their second kid via C-section. For those who don't know, a C-section is a major surgery. It's not a walk in the park by any means. On their podcast episode with the subject of postpartum depression, Abby talks about how tough her recovery was, the pain and the emotions that came from her not being able to easily move or pick up her baby, and the guilt that she felt not being able to fully be there as a caretaker for her kids. And while this was happening in real time, Matt stopped talking to her for like 2 days.
You know how I was like really quiet the first day after the birth?
Yeah.
I think like, look, I don't get like emotional like you, but I think that was like my version of baby blues in a way.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I still don't quite understand what the term baby blues means, but I think
You'll never understand, honey.
I think I was having this like realization moment of, okay, like my life just changed big time. And for a little bit, I was like, wow, like all my career goals have to go to the wayside. And I just kind of I was kind of frustrated a little bit.
I could tell.
And I just kind of shut down and didn't say anything. Like
Yeah.
I was just like quiet.
Yeah, that was hard for me.
Because I wasn't going to like talk to you about it because I didn't want to like bring you down. But then by me not saying anything, I think that brought you down.
Well, you were bringing me down because you weren't talking to me. It was just hard because I was having such high needs at that point that weren't getting met. And I think it was causing frustration between the two of us.
And it was hard too because like for me, knowing that you can't, other than obviously you need to feed Augie and, you know, we can do formula, but like you were, you know, wanting to do breastfeeding. And so like, it felt like I was doing like everything for Augie. And so I'm like, here I am, like I have all these like big goals and big dreams and I have to put them to the wayside and I'm like, I'm stuck here. And I was kind of mad.
I understand that a lot changes after you become a parent. Your life focus will definitely shift. It's not wrong to feel like you lose parts of yourself in the process, but it was just not the right time or place to be centering himself when the setting was Abby going through her struggles postpartum. His wife is struggling physically and mentally, and there's a newborn baby, and he's saying that he's upset because of his life and how Abby wasn't doing enough. Some comments on the situation are, he's so clueless, he has no self-awareness or empathy. You can tell that Abby is still feeling hurt, but Matt is just casually talking about it like it's no big deal. He makes zero attempt to understand how it felt for Abby. Why do they discuss this on their podcast and not the privacy of their own home? How can a new father not speak to his wife right after her body went through so much giving birth to their new child? It's so selfish. So now you're caught up to discuss the cruise ship drama. Before this one, most of the controversies have surrounded how awful Matt is, but this tea involves both of them. So Matt and Abby went on a cruise with their kids, who are again just 1 and 2 years old. Last week, Abby's posting things on her story on Instagram about the trip, talking about how it's been tough to really enjoy and have it feel like a vacation because of the struggles of accommodating their kids' needs. So since it's been hard for them to find time to enjoy themselves, they decide to leave their kids in their cruise ship rooms to sleep while they FaceTime the baby monitors and get dinner. And Abby shares this information on her Instagram stories like it's a cute little life hack. The internet went absolutely nuts, and for good reason. People were bringing up all sorts of scenarios. What if there was an emergency on the boat and you're so far away from your kids? What if someone broke into the room knowing you're influencers on the ship and they see that you're without your kids? What if there's a lag in the connection or the FaceTime freezes? And on top of this, Matt had also shared a room tour before all of this came to light and showed that the kids were actually sleeping in 2 separate rooms. So it made people even more upset since they thought this meant their kids were also not even in the same place if something were to happen on the ship. And then does that also mean they were FaceTiming 2 separate baby monitors? So everyone's going wild and commenting their thoughts on Matt and Abby and how could they do this. People started looking into the cruise line they're on and found out that the ship had childcare services that they could have easily afforded, or with their influencer income they could have hired a babysitter or nanny to come help watch the kids. And if they didn't want to have a stranger watch the kids, they literally had extended family members on the trip with them. So people were questioning why they didn't just have a family member watch the kids and have some sort of rotation. This was everywhere on TikTok, trending for days, and in the meantime, Abby was silent on the situation. She was deleting comments and still posting sponsored content. I honestly don't blame her for having to fulfill her contractual obligations amidst the controversy, but it definitely doesn't look good when people are already mad at you and think you're doing wrong with your platform. Days after the backlash, after it continued to trend on social media and People magazine wrote an article about it, they finally addressed the situation with a 2.5 minute long video.
Hey everybody, we usually would not be making a video like this, but there is information circulating about us that is completely untrue. So we just wanted to set the record straight, clear the air, because we take our role as parents extremely seriously. And we love our children more than anything in the entire world. And we're very protective of our kids. So we just got back from a 7-night cruise with Abby's extended family. And this was everyone from Abby's grandma, our children's great grandma, to our 1 and 2 year old. And so where this whole controversy started, I guess, is a few days ago, Abby posted on her Instagram story that we were at dinner FaceTiming the baby monitors while our children were asleep in their staterooms. And people started to speculate and believe that we had left our children alone in their staterooms. And that is just completely untrue because we had someone with our children at all times on this boat, period.
I can see where my story did lead to misunderstanding, which is why I ended up deleting it several hours after posting it, is because I could see that it was causing concern and misunderstanding. And I do want to say thank you so much to those of you that were concerned about the safety and well-being of our children as their parents. That is our first and foremost main concern. But to know that other people share those same concerns for our precious boys, it really means a lot. So thank you. But I do want to clarify that we have not, would not, will not ever leave our children unattended. We would never ever want to put them in harm's way in any way. I do want to clear up the baby monitor situation. Our children sleep in these blackout tents every single night, whether or not we're traveling or if we're just home. And a feature of these tents is they have a spot for a sound machine and a spot for a monitor. And even if we are sleeping in the exact same room as our boys, we always turn their monitor on so we can watch and see what's happening inside the tent, make sure they're okay, see if they've fallen asleep or if they've woken up. We just love to have eyes on them. We're always concerned about them. And so that's why even when we would, tag team and take turns at family dinner, we would turn on FaceTime so we could also have eyes on them as their parents if we weren't the ones, attending them in that moment.
And we're so thankful to them, you guys, because we spent a lot of our time on this boat in our staterooms manning the baby monitors, and if it wasn't for Abby's extended family, we really would have not gotten a chance to really get out of the room. So thank you to them. Thank you to you guys for listening to what we had to say. It really means a lot to us, and we appreciate you listening to the very end.
Thank you.
So they're claiming that the kids were never actually alone in their rooms and that they always watch the kids through baby monitors when they're in their blackout tents just to ensure that they're okay. Their core fans are defending them, but a lot of people are still not buying it. Some people said that they could be telling the truth, but intentionally waited to make their statement just to continue riling everyone up and generate more views. I personally don't think they did this intentionally because it's a super serious controversy to put yourself in just for more attention when it involves the literal safety of your kids. I feel like that's a line that you wouldn't dare cross considering CPS. Some people think that they're lying, and I kind of see why, since it took them days to come up with an explanation that is extremely straightforward if it is true. Abby says that she took her story down hours after it was posted because she saw how it was being misunderstood. So why didn't Girly just clear it up and shut down the rumors right away? She was also deleting comments about it that people were making on her post, so why not just start replying and clear it up? They also did not say who was in the room with the kids. It kind of sounded like Matt was about to get there, and then Abby kind of interjects and starts talking her side. Some people online were saying they think that that was intentional just so that they could kind of dodge that question and not have to further elaborate. I'm sure they have some sort of PR team or someone to consult about this. Another kind of big thing that points to this maybe just being a lie is that Abby marketed this whole thing as some sort of life hack, which doesn't really make sense if someone is just in your room watching the baby. If someone was in the room with them, why would they feel the need to FaceTime the baby monitors as a hack if they've never done that before? There are people on both sides saying that they're parents and that they either would do the same thing or they would never think to do the same thing if someone's literally watching them for you. So if you're a parent, let me know what you would think to do. Some netizen comments in response to this stated, "It's so not even believable at all." So if they had someone willing to stay with the kids during the dinner, then why did they need to change the time until after bedtime? They're covering themselves. You don't FaceTime your monitor if someone else is in the room. You FaceTime them. And someone even said, no, they literally posted a story after this one saying no childcare was available during dinner time with the grandparents across from them at dinner. Which I can't confirm, but would make sense why they might not have named someone who was allegedly with their kids because they don't want to get called out on something people can actually debunk. Many people said this controversy was different for them than the previous ones because children were involved. You do not mess with kids on TikTok. People will come for you, reasonably so. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Are they for real, or are they just really good at stirring the pot? Is all of this harmless entertainment, or is there something more problematic going on? Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!